Thank you very much. And welcome to Cats and Dogs here on Press TV with me, Len Topic. And let's start with America's latest political sitcom TV show, the Biden Presidency. We're just months into this new soap opera known as Sleepy Joe Goes to Washington. And it's guaranteed a 4-year season, if everything goes smoothly. Now, and a spoiler alert here, insiders say Biden's going to bring all the US dollars back home by borrowing so much money there won't be any US currency left in the rest of the world. In another twist, Kamala Harris will inherit the White House. Actually, that's a story twist everyone's predicting anyway. And the love interest will be the continuing romance between Washington and Riyadh. And anyone who remembers the tale of Antony and Cleopatra knows how that ends. Some say Miss America doesn't really want to fall in love with her Saudi suitor all over again, but she needs the money. Joe Biden was supposed to punish bin Salman for his role in the murder of Jamal Khashoggi and recalibrate US relations with the Saudi kingdom. But the only thing that's been recalibrated so far is the way the Americans date the Saudis. What's odd is that Biden himself slammed the Trump administration for withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal. He didn't like Trump's art of dealing. But his own art of dealing looks like he's in the nuclear deal without wanting to honour it. Biden's like someone who turns up at your birthday party and expects you to give him a present. Members of the Biden administration say they're ready to come back to the deal step by step. And the steps? Well, the first step is the Islamic Republic shuts down all its nuclear sites. The second step is that the United States will tell Iran what the third step is. Believe it or not, Biden's deputy special envoy for Iran at the State Department, that's Richard Nephew, wrote a book called The Art of Sanctions. Judging by his performance in these negotiations, you've got to ask the question, has he read his own book? His current plan seems to mean starving the Iranian public and withholding their medicine. What's his next book going to be called? Something like Stealing Food from Strangers, followed by Tell My Ex-Wife I'm Keeping All Her Prescription Drugs. On the eve of Iranian New Year, the lead negotiator on the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, that's Robert Malley, wished for a new chapter in Tehran-Washington relations. If Mr. Nephew has anything to do with it, they'll invent the gift of taking. His boss has already created a new poetic language when addressing the Iranian people, in which words don't represent their usual meanings.
The great poet Feridun Mushiri once wrote, "Open the windows, for the kind breeze is celebrating the birthday of the flowers. And spring on each and every branch, next to each leaf, has lit candles."
Here in this video, Obama is faced with a closed door, so he asks the Iranians to open the window for him to enter the house. Now, Biden might as well recite William Blake's The Chimney Sweeper, asking the Iranians to keep the chimneys open for him. Don't expect Joe to release a video message on Nowruz, the Iranian New Year. He has not given a single news conference since his inauguration. The longest a new president has gone without holding a press conference since, well, the invention of television. And the main reason for his silence? Some say it's to avoid blunders.
So you know Vladimir Putin, you think he's a killer?
Mm-hmm, I do.
So what price must he pay?
The price he's going to pay, well, you'll see shortly.
I'd love to be in Biden's next meeting with Putin. Why did you call me a murderer? Did I? Yes, why did you call me a murderer? I honestly can't remember. Who are you anyway? Freedom of expression is a good thing. So let's go all the way. So that Saudi people can say Biden is a criminal responsible for the deaths of their countrymen in the Iraq war. Or Putin can say he misses Trump, which could actually be true. And Biden's vice president can suggest Joe's a racist again. But she stopped saying that after he won. I wonder why. Now, the Americans warn the US is ready to fight North Korea. In fact, Secretary of State Lloyd Austin has said they're ready to attack North Korea overnight. Why at night? Do they think if they sneak over the demilitarized zone in the dark, nobody will notice? I bet Austin hopes the readiness of the US Army is more sure-footed than its commander-in-chief. While Biden is threatening North Korea with war, the administration is still under pressure from the Hill for apparently bombing Iraqi popular forces, and the administration is still justifying the airstrike. Meanwhile, in another strange turn of events, Biden seems to have become obsessed with defending his own dog against claims he bit a member of White House security.
One final question.
Sure.
Is Major out of the doghouse?
Yeah. The answer is yes. Major was a rescue pup. Major did not bite someone and penetrate the skin. And the dog's being trained now. Our trainer at home in Delaware, he was going home. I didn't banish him to home. Jill was going to be away for 4 days. I was going to be away for 2, so we took him home.
Chaos in the White House has even driven the Taliban crazy. In a confused reference to Trump, Biden has announced that leaving Afghanistan was the former administration's pledge, not his. Who's controlling Biden? Could it be that in some strange supernatural way, Biden's body has become possessed by Donald Trump? It makes sense, you see. You never see Trump and Biden in a room at the same time, which also explains why Trump couldn't show up at Biden's inauguration. Because Trump is Biden. That also explains all the U-turns and why Joe Biden doesn't look like a real person. Anyway, the name of the game seems to be to win, right or wrong. At least in the old Hollywood westerns, the sheriff was usually the good guy. And the stories did work as long as you hated the Indians and think that settlers do have the right to invade and conquer their land. Which pretty much sums up American foreign policy that seems to have been invented by John Wayne. Let's return to the Washington-Riyadh love story. As always in these romances, sharp words are said to increase the drama. And so it is that Miss America, in the unlikely form of President Biden, got upset with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Then he called the prince's father, King Salman, and listed all the US financial needs in the coming 4 years. And then he kind of implied that in Washington, despite what the Beatles said in their famous song, money can buy you love. So what is going on in this special relationship? Let's find out from the man who knows. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone and live here on Cats and Dogs, we have King Salman. Hi, Majesty. Sorry for disturbing you. We didn't wake you up, did we?
Are you my wake-up phone call?
No, it's Lembedopik here.
Ooh, the speaking clock. Is it time to get up?
Lembedopik from Cats and Dogs. Never mind. I just want to know more about your conversation with the US President.
Oh, Dad, it was tough. I couldn't remember his name or who he was.
Okay, but what did you say?
To who?
To Mr. Biden?
Who's that?
The American president who was trying to financially blackmail you over the Khashoggi scandal.
That's strange. How do you know about that? It was supposed to be a secret.
Well, it's not all that secret, actually. What did you promise Biden?
We agreed to stop talking about it forever. Well, I agreed that.
And what did he say?
I can't remember, and I don't think he can either.
Is that all? No big arms deal?
No. We don't want another arms deal.
Why not?
These days, we only want to boost the U.S. tourist industry, which has been hit hard by the pandemic. So we agreed to send the Crown Prince and his entourage to the United States every month.
Wow, that is a lot of travelling.
Traveling? Where?
Travelling to America, your son travelling to America.
What for? An arms deal?
But you just said you don't want another arms deal. Hi, Majesty. Hello? I guess that's the end of the interview then. Now it's time to see who's good, who's bad, and who's ugly this week. The good this week are French nurses and doctors who faced off with President Emmanuel Macron, demanding better pay and attention from the government. Yes, is there anywhere on Earth or in space the French president has not expressed his concerns about? So the good this week are those heroes and heroines coping with the pandemic in France, who now try to remind their president he's not the emperor of the world, which would actually make him grander than Napoleon. On that French point, this week's bad is Macron's own wife for failing as a teacher. Yes, her husband went to see the Israeli Prime Minister and accused Iran of violating the nuclear deal. Two problems with this. Firstly, why was Macron allowed out on his own? And secondly, why is he moaning to the Israelis about Iran? Like he doesn't know Tel Aviv never signed the non-proliferation treaty. I blame his bad education. And since his wife's a teacher, it's her fault. And the ugly this week is the group responsible for killing many employees of the Afghanistan Ministry of Communications. Terrorists have found themselves in a competition with coronavirus for killing people. Sadly, there's no vaccine for terrorism, but there is a cure for some of its causes. But given Western foreign policy, curing COVID is probably simpler. That's all for this week. Join me again next time to find out how that American soap opera is going, whether the US Army has sneaked into North Korea at night, and whether Saudi Arabia has paid enough to stay engaged with America. I'm Lembit Opik, this is Press TV, and that was Cats and Dogs.